HOA banned my motorcycle. They didn't know I'm the police captain. My name is Brian Keller. I'm 48, a father of two, a husband of 21 years, and the newly assigned police captain of District 4 Westfield County. After 23 years in uniform and 8 years leading SWAT response teams, I finally accepted a slower post-community policing, family outreach, de-escalation training, a position where I could be home for dinner, not briefing on body armor. So when we moved into Willowgate Heights, I thought it was the fresh start we needed. Safe streets, quiet lawns, and a one-story house with a porch big enough for my dog and coffee. I didn't bring much, just my badge, my family, and my Harley. She wasn't just any motorcycle, she was a department-issued pursuit bike, on duty, registered through the state, fitted with lights, sirens, encrypted GPS. I parked her on my driveway out front, same spot every night, never once caused a problem. Until the envelope came. Notice of violation: unauthorized vehicle motorcycles are not permitted to be visible from the street, per Willowgate HOA's community vehicle standards. Remove within 48 hours or face escalating fines. Signed, Karen Belridge, HOA president. I laughed at first. I thought it was a mix-up. Then I noticed the red sticker slapped on my police vehicle's fuel tank. It wasn't just a notice. It was a deliberate defacement. Residue from the adhesive ran down the paint like vandalism. I called the number listed. Karen answered on the second ring. "Hi, this is Captain Keller. I just received 'You've been cited.'" She cut me off. "No exceptions. Motorcycles must be garaged or covered. That's a city-authorized law enforcement vehicle. I don't care if it's NASA's rocket bike. The HOA rules apply." I paused. "You're aware that interfering with a police vehicle is a criminal offense? Correct, a beat." Then she laughed. "I've dealt with enough boys who think a badge means above the rules. Cover it or move." She hung up. I didn't escalate right away. I believed in due process. I filed a written appeal, attached my assignment documents, cited federal and state code that classified pursuit vehicles as essential emergency units, and referenced the HOA's own bylaws, which said nothing about law enforcement exceptions. It was denied the next morning, hand-delivered, with a second fine $250 for failure to comply. That night, someone keyed the side of the Harley, not just scratch-keyed, deep, from gas tank to tailpipe. Underneath, in sharp, shaky letters, "No special treatment." I pulled the security footage. Grainy, but clear enough. Karen's son, Dylan, hoodie, ball cap, caught red-handed. I took it to her doorstep. Karen opened the door with her usual sneer until she saw what I was holding. I said nothing, just played the footage. When it ended, she crossed her arms. "He's a minor. He's 16. Barely." I looked her dead in the eye. "If this were anyone else's vehicle, I'd be pressing vandalism charges tonight." She blinked. "Are you threatening my family?" I stepped back. "No, ma'am, I'm offering you a choice." She didn't answer, so I turned and left. The next morning, I found a final enforcement notice duct taped to my front door. Karen had doubled the fines and attached a printed demand that the motorcycle be towed within 24 hours or removed by HOA-authorized contractors. I checked the HOA registry. Karen was not legally elected. The contractors listed were her cousin's landscaping business. That's when I realized this wasn't about a motorcycle. It was about power. The bike was just a symbol, and I wasn't the first. Maria, 2 doors down, had received 7 fines in 3 months, 2 for her son's basketball hoop, 1 for a backyard bird feeder. She was too afraid to speak up. Caleb, an Iraq vet in a wheelchair, had been fined $500 for a ramp he'd installed himself. Karen claimed it violated decorative continuity. I pulled HOA documents and city property records. None of it added up. Karen had been issuing bogus violations using letterhead that wasn't recognized by the county. Worse, she'd sent contractors her own family to remove violations and bill the HOA for work that never happened. I had enough. I wasn't going to knock again. I gave Karen a chance to walk away with grace. I gave her a chance to apologize after her son keyed a department vehicle. I gave her due process. But when she tried to tow a police motorcycle on duty, registered to the state, used for pursuit and rescue, that was my line. And she didn't just cross it, she did donuts on it. At 6:08 a.m., I stood on my porch sipping coffee, already in uniform, watching the flatbed truck pull into the cul-de-sac. The driver hesitated when he saw me. Behind him, Karen in her usual HOA windbreaker, sunglasses, and clipboard, still acting like she was the mayor of Willowgate. I walked calmly down the driveway. "You're trespassing," I said, loud enough for my body cam to capture it. Karen smirked. "This is a neighborhood enforcement. You'll be compensated. That's a state vehicle. I don't care if it belongs to the president. I warned you. I pointed to the Harley. If that truck touches the bike, he'll be obstructing police operations under State Code 224.3. That's a felony. Karen raised her chin. You don't scare me. I stepped aside. Good. Then you won't mind if I let the law speak instead. The flatbed driver backed up. Quick. That same afternoon, I filed a formal cease and desist through the city legal office. I included footage of Karen issuing fake citations, security camera footage of her son vandalizing a police vehicle, signed witness statements from Maria, Caleb, and 3 other residents who had received fines for non-existent violations. Financial records showing HOA funds being paid directly to her cousin's fake landscaping company, registered just 4 months ago. The city took one look and escalated it to the district attorney. But I wasn't done, because Karen wasn't the only one who needed to be held accountable. The HOA board, mostly absentee and handpicked by Karen, had enabled this. So I printed everything. A packet for every home in the neighborhood. I didn't add commentary, just facts. Then I walked house to house, delivering each packet in person. It took me 8 hours. That evening, the community group chat, which had been silent for months, exploded. She charged me $600 to repaint my mailbox. I did it myself. My daughter was fined $100 for sidewalk chalk. I built a ramp for my wife. She said it was obstruction of visual flow. I cried, then paid. Then Maria wrote she threatened to file a complaint with CPS if I didn't remove the basketball hoop. My son is 9. The dam broke. People spoke up. Dozens, then hundreds. Karen's silence was louder than any siren. 3 days later, the emergency HOA meeting was called not by Karen, but by the vice president, Ms. Eloise Tran, who had been coerced for months and had finally snapped. The meeting was standing room only, held in the town library's community hall. Cameras rolled. Reporters from 2 local outlets showed up. I sat in the back in plain clothes. Karen sat at the front like it was a trial. She wore a blazer and pearls. First mistake. Eloise stood and read a prepared statement. This board has failed its residents. I take responsibility for not asking questions, but I will not stay silent now. I motion to dissolve this current HOA board and refer all financial activity to legal counsel for forensic review. The room erupted in applause. Karen stood. You can't do this. This is mutiny. I raised my hand. Eloise nodded. I walked to the front. Karen, I have a question, I said calmly. Why did you change the HOA bylaws without a community vote? She froze. I stepped closer. And why did HOA payments go directly to your cousin's LLC, which has no business license? No reviews, and no tax ID. Whispers filled the room. Karen's voice cracked. I was maintaining the community standards. Then why did you fine veterans for accessibility ramps, kids for chalk art? Why did you violate ADA guidelines, and why did you key a police pursuit vehicle? I didn't. Your son did. I didn't know. I played the footage on the projector behind us. Karen's face drained of color. A man in the crowd stood. I vote to remove her. Another followed. Second. A third, all in favor. The roar of AYE shook the walls. Karen was removed. Instantly. Unanimously. But justice didn't stop there. 2 days later, she was served with civil fraud charges, vandalism, and abuse of authority in a governing body. Her cousin's business was dissolved. Their assets were frozen. And her son, he was required to complete 200 hours of community service cleaning, graffiti off city property, and attending juvenile restorative justice sessions, including one with Boone and me. The Harley stayed in the driveway. But something else changed. Maria's son got a new basketball hoop funded by donations from neighbors. Caleb's ramp painted and polished by volunteers. The woman who lived alone with her mother got a garden box built where her old one was bulldozed. The HOA was restructured entirely. New leadership, rotating terms. All fines had to go through 2 outside parties for validation. Karen's name removed from all records. They offered me a spot on the new board. I declined. I already had a job protecting people. But the ending you think you want, the one where she moves away in shame, it didn't come. Karen stayed. For months. She didn't wave, didn't speak, kept her shutters closed. But slowly, after she saw what community looked like, she changed. One day, I caught her placing a bag of dog treats by my front gate. No note, just a quiet olive branch. People still stop me in town. You're the guy with the bike. Right. That HOA mess, I smile. Yeah, that was me. And every time I ride home, I remember sometimes the badge is a shield, but sometimes it's a mirror. What do you think? Should law enforcement officers be subject to HOA rules? Was Karen punished fairly or too harshly? Can a neighborhood truly heal after abuse of power? Comment below, because every community has a choice between fear and fairness.